Hello, friends. We're back again. Joel Pearl, Fightful.com. I know this guy.
Yes, you do.
You know this guy.
I've been here before.
We've done this before.
We have.
Evil Luno's here. How you doing?
I could be better this week. I'm a little tired. I will not lie, but I'm doing fantastic.
Well, let's talk about it. We're here in Ottawa. We're at C4 for Fighting Back. The show is in its, I believe, 14th year.
Yes, 13th event, but our 14th year, yeah.
And just an incredible spectacle, not only philanthropy, but also an opportunity for wrestling fans to come together and raise funds for the Canadian Cancer Society. We're going to rewind a couple of days. This man was all over your screens if you watch Mystery Wrestling, not only because he's the voice of Mystery Wrestling, but also 24 hours long stream for a match that went almost 22 hours.
Correct.
How are you feeling? Have you recuperated?
No. So I thought I would. I thought by now I've had 4 nights of sleep. I would feel good. I don't. And truthfully, for as bad as it is for me, I think it's probably far worse for the men and the women who wrestled the full 22 hours. I only did an hour of wrestling and I sat on a chair most of it. But even then, if you get the chance to watch it, it's on YouTube. You can watch us all be delirious between like 2 a.m. and 9 a.m. It's a feat to see for sure.
Well, it's when the British wrestling pals all showed up and got to fill
That's
in.
right. Thankfully, the world is vast and there are people watching in the middle of the night. Yes.
So putting together a show like this, other than I'm an insane human being, what goes through your mind when you've thought about, not only the reasoning for doing it, but also coming to the decision we're going to do the longest match ever?
So I know every year we do a charity stream, and typically I'll do like a 12-hour marathon on Twitch. And most years what we've done is I've brought in guests from all over the world of wrestling, from AEW, Impact, so on and so forth, a lot of like influencers and so on. So I knew I was at least going to commit 12 hours to it. And then on a completely different conversation, unrelated to it, somebody had asked me, like, oh, I wonder what the longest match in the world is. And when I Googled it, it said it was under 22 hours. And unfortunately, this was like 3 weeks before we did the event. I went, F it. We're doing it. We're going to do 24 hours. I'm committing to it. And then I asked all of our local wrestlers who would be willing to do it, and practically everyone did. And the day we announced it, that we were doing it, was the day I thought of it. So
Oh, man.
it was very poorly planned, but that is the Mystery Wrestling way.
So when we get to the day of the show, the jitters are there and everyone's getting ready for it. What's going through your head, A? And B, what was kind of the hardest logistic hurdle to encountered throughout all this thing?
So we knew we were going to raise a decent amount of money just with the guests we were going to have, and just like if we're basing it on previous years, we knew we would do well. My main concern is, how are we going to keep this interesting for 24 hours, and how are we going to make sure that while we are aiming for 22 hours plus, how am I going to make sure that no one gets hurt? That was definitely a logistical nightmare. I thought that, I pressured my friends to do this match, but I thought like, oh, we'll do 8 on each side. It'll give plenty of people time to rest. What I didn't anticipate was everyone is going to try to rest between 1 a.m. and 9 a.m. So at a certain period of time, I went to the back to eat food because I hadn't had any food in 10 hours. And I realized everyone was asleep on one side of the team except for one guy, and he had been in there for several hours. And so on the fly, we added people in. Surprisingly, some people had called in. They were around town and like, hey, I would love to join in. So we just added people to it. I would say it felt fine for the first 6 hours. I felt like, oh, we've got this. And then the next 8 felt like, this is a mistake. We'll never do this again. What are we doing? This is not even wrestling. And then the last 2 felt good again. So logistical nightmare for sure. But I'm glad we did it. I do not think I'll ever do that again, though.
I want to ask you about my guitar playing friend.
Yes.
So he is actually legitimately an old bandmate of mine.
Really?
Yes. I'm not going to give you his full name here because I also don't know what name he's using.
Brian Powers. That's his name.
So Brian Powers and I used to be in a band back in the day. I grew up in Ottawa. I think we've talked about this offline before. Now I'm in Toronto. But Brian and I played in a band once upon a time and played at the Capitol Music Hall way back when. So I need you to explain this guy to maybe Mystery Wrestling fans, or maybe people who say, who is this guitar playing maniac who keeps showing up?
So a little inside baseball. Brian is actually a student of ours. He came to the Keep to learn professional wrestling. But he's like a notoriously good guitarist.
He's been on international tours.
Yeah, he's been on tour with like Gojira. He's been he tours with legitimate bands.
Yes.
He is a legitimate musician. He's incredibly talented. And I'm sure he will hate to hear this in the public eye. One of the nicest people I've ever met. By far generous with his time, so nice. It makes no sense. And so when we do these shows, I like to take advantage of people's skills. That's why we've had people that play saxophone on our show. That's why people that play guitar. And so I thought like, oh, Brian, would you like to play guitar on the shows? Not thinking it would be a big deal. We just thought it'd be interesting. And now it feels like it's almost synonymous with what we do. Yeah. He's a very big part of our show. And he was not supposed to wrestle on this show. This just kind of happened because we needed extra bodies. And he covered, let's say, several hours. He's incredible. But kudos to Brian for sure.
Just wild. Just when I watch him show up, backstory. I came to Mystery, and that's the last time we spoke. And he came up to me and said, "Joel," and I was like, "The hell are you doing here?" Because we different worlds, just music. And all of a sudden, I was like, "You're here?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm working." I'm like, "So am I, but different."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We came with two different sides for sure.
So as Mystery kind of evolves and grows, next stop Toronto.
Yes, correct.
September 20th,
21st. Yes,
because AEW All Out is going to be in Toronto. That's September 20th. Sold out show for Mystery Wrestling at the Rec Room in Toronto. Talk to me about not just the excitement going into this event, but also what you're hoping to get out of it, because this is a new venue for you guys.
Truthfully, I did this on a whim, like I do everything in Mystery Wrestling. And I thought, well, this is our first real test. We've done Gatineau our entire existence. We've been doing it for 2 years now. Let's see if we could do this elsewhere. And if I'm being truthful, it's an immense success. We sold over 300 tickets in less than 24 hours of tickets being on sale. And now our main focus right now is to make sure we knock this one out of the park. There's going to be a lot of people there. And if anyone knows anything about Mystery Wrestling, we're not going to announce a soul that's there. We're just going to anticipate that people trust me enough to watch the event. And I'm going to say this. This is the biggest crowd we'll ever had as of yet. Typically, we can draw up to 250 in our little bingo hall. This is at least about 100 more. And so I'm going to take into account of that. This is probably going to be the biggest show we've ever produced.
Amazing. And finally, let's bring it all back home.
Yes.
We're here. We're in Ottawa. It's C4. This is a very meaningful event for you personally. I want to give you kind of the floor, not only to explain your connection to this event, but also to the Ottawa region and why this is a tentpole event for people here.
So Fighting Back, Wrestling with Cancer has been an event we've been doing since 2011. In late 2010, going into 2011, my closest friend, Frank Morin, passed away from cancer. He had a very aggressive form of cancer that he found out about in December and unfortunately passed away in April. During the time he was battling cancer, when he was had more strength in the later months, we were planning with him to do a charity event. That was something he wanted to do. He was a very, very giving person. He was honestly one of the best people I've ever met. And every year we come into the C4 Hall, and it's changed over the 14 years of our existence, and we always raise money in his name. We make donations to the Canadian Cancer Society in his name, and it is a very important thing for me. It's a very important thing for C4, Mark Paulusel and Steven. But it is also a very important part of our local scene. Every single person from the local scene comes together. Everyone donates their time. Every single, and it's very rare that not to say that other charity events are doing it unlike us, but it's very rare that every single penny that's made on a show is given away. Every penny that is made at these shows is given away. And it means a lot to me. It means a lot to Mark. It means a lot to our local scene. I do not think, even in the future where I retire, I don't think I won't be doing this. This is by far, I have a lot of big projects in my life. I have a lot of big things. This is by far the most important thing to me. We're at now our 14th year. Frank's name has donated over $600,000 to the Canadian Cancer Society since we've started. I don't want to show too much, but by the time this comes out, the number will be out there. But I think we're about to give our biggest donation in a year that we've ever had. So I'm very, very excited. And every year it comes out to the same ideas, like what stupid thing can I do next year to try and make more money? And I don't know the answer to it now, but I can tell you right now, I'm going to do something stupid next year to make sure that we raise even more.
Well, for now, you can catch the event. It's going to air on IWTV. I heard on Tuesday.
Yes.
We're going to drop this later on, so you can find it on IWTV. So go ahead at C4 Wrestling. You know who he is. It's Evil Uno. And I'm sure we're going to do this again.
Probably.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to do Toronto?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it in Toronto.
Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
I've often talked about how much of a pay-per-view buyer I am. Take that any way you want it, but I'll tell you how I take it. NordVPN.com/Fightful. Fastest VPN on the planet, global server network, all that good stuff. That's great. But a big reason why I got NordVPN.com/Fightful is all the pay-per-views I buy, all the money we're spending. We're trying to control costs as a company, as a household. You can get those UFC pay-per-views at a fraction of the price you're paying here in America. Plus, you can get all kinds of great content that you wouldn't normally see thanks to those services as well. Shows that are on overseas services, things that you want to watch a little bit early so you get on that UK time and watch them. Being able to change the interfaces of things like the WWE Network. Maybe you don't like Peacock, anything like that. NordVPN.com/Fightful gives you that ability while having the fastest VPN on the planet. Also, you just get so much more out of your internet experience with NordVPN.com/Fightful. Subscribe to Fight and AEW Plus. Watch AEW without commercials. Watch bare knuckle boxing. Watch UFC pay-per-views, boxing pay-per-views at the rates they're getting over in the UK. Change your virtual location with just one click. And hey, if you need any help using it, they got that 24/7 tech support. NordVPN.com/Fightful.